Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below for Star Wars Unlimited or any other game. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be diving into Star Wars Unlimited. I just got my hands on a bunch of starter decks and booster packs and extra accessories like game mats and tokens and things like that. Today I'm going to show you, I'm going to open up 4 booster packs, sight unseen. I don't know what's in there beforehand. We're going to open up, we're going to go through those, and then at the end of this I'm going to talk about what can you do with these booster packs, in addition to just building a normal deck and playing. So we're going to talk about the sealed draft, we're going to talk about the open draft. So let me show you these and then I'll see you on the other side. All right, here are 4 of the booster packs that I've got that we're going to open up together here. They each have 16 cards, and they all have sort of like randomized packaging, like 2 of the Leias and Chewie and stuff. So let's open them up and look at each of the cards individually. Okay, so now I'm opening up this here, and I want to point out that obviously you're going to open it up from the back because that's where the seal is. And I want to first notate that these cards, they're face down so you can't see them, but there's 2 cards that you can see. This is just basically like a token card to track certain things. And then you've got the leader card, in this case Boba Fett. We'll go over this in a minute. This is important because later on when I talk about the different formats of how you can play with sealed and open drafting, one of the steps is to take the leader out, put him in the middle and stuff like that, and don't look at any of the cards. And that might not make any sense, but that's why. All these are face down, and this is like this. So let's take a look at these cards. Now let's look at Boba Fett's non-unit side. When an enemy unit leaves play, you may exhaust this leader, and if you do, you get to ready a resource. So Boba Fett's all about gaining resources. And of course, if you control 5 or more resources, you deploy the leader. And then from there, it's a 4/7. And when this unit completes an attack, if an enemy unit left play, you killed it or left play in any way, you ready up to 2 resources. So Boba Fett's all about reusing resources, which is kind of a cool thing. Now, in addition to each pack having a leader, they're all going to have 9 common cards. Look at those first. They'll have a little C down here in the bottom right. So we have a green squadron A-wing, raid 2. This unit gets +2 in attacking. I'm just going to move left to right in all these. Recruit. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for a unit, reveal it, and draw it. Put the other cards at the bottom of your deck in a random order. Wilderness Fighter. It's a unit, a ground unit, trooper. When this is in play, you give it a shield token, and the event is open fire, and you deal 4 damage to a unit. All right, let's look at some more comments here. We have Mercenary Company. It is a ground unit, and it's got ambush, so after you play it, may ready attack in an enemy unit. And it's got overwhelm, so when attacking an enemy unit, you deal excess damage to the opponent's base. The next one is Restored ARC 170. You restore 1, so when it attacks, you heal 1 damage from your base. Surprise Strike is an event, so attack a unit, it gets +3 attack for this attack. And a ground unit Cell Block Guard, it's Sentinel, so if it's in the area, it can't attack your non-Sentinel units. So you probably know how Sentinel works if you're watching this video. So now we've got 1 common, and each deck is going to have 3 uncommon, so you see the U's there. So we have an ISB Agent, which is a ground unit. When played, you may reveal an event from your hand. If you do, deal 1 damage to a unit. So you're showing the event, but you're getting some stuff for that. We have a ground unit. Ooh, Chewbacca, nice. It's got Sentinel, and when this unit's attack, you ready him. Pretty cool. An event, Overwhelming Barrage. Give a friendly unit +2 attack and defense for this phase. Then it deals damage equal to its power, divided as you choose among any number of other units. Very flexible there. And then the last one, this ground unit, while there's at least 3 aspects among other friendly units, this unit can't be attacked unless she gains Sentinel. And on an attack, you may deal 1 damage to the defender or to a base. So this one's good when you have other units out first and you have other aspects there. Maybe you've had to pay more to get those out to have different ones and things like that. Now there's always 1 foil in each of the decks, and that's this one here. You can kind of see it like that. Fighters for Freedom, it's a ground unit. It's got Saboteur, and then when you play another aspect of that red there, you may deal 1 damage to a base, and then everyone comes with a rare. So it binds all things as an event. Heal up to 3 damage from a unit. If you control a force unit, you may deal that much damage to another unit. Pretty cool. So that's the first booster pack. Let's go through the other 3. All right, the next one here, with the leader Grand Moff Tarkin, and you can use an action to give an experience token to an Imperial unit. And when it becomes a unit on attack, it's a 2/7. And on attack, you may give an experience token to another Imperial unit. So all about the experience tokens. And oddly enough, here's the foil for this one, the common. It's a Vanguard Infantry ground unit. When defeated, you may give an experience token to a unit. So oddly enough, there's already 2 cards in this deck that's all about the experienced tokens. All right, let's look at some of the commons. We have Tactical Advantage. It's an event. You give a unit +2 attack and defense for this phase. We have a Consular Security Force. So it's a ground unit. And no ability there, but it has a 3/7. It does have 2 aspects. Mission Briefing is an event. And then you choose a player, then they draw 2 cards. And then Bounty Hunter Crew is a ground unit. And it's a 4/4. It's got Ambush. And when played, you may return an event from a discard pile to its owner's hand. That could be pretty powerful. All right, for some more commons, we have a Restock event. Choose up to 4 cards in a discard pile, put them on the bottom of their owner's deck in random order. We have Snapshot Reflexes. When played, you may attack with this attached unit, so it's an upgrade. You're attacking with an additional +1 on both. You have an event, Disarm. Give an enemy unit -4 and 0 for this phase. Wow, that's crazy. And then Partisan Insurgent, a ground unit. While you control another red aspect, this unit gains Raid 2, so it gets a +2 attack. So there's some combo building there. All right, Fleet Lieutenant's a ground unit, 3/3, and when you play, if it's a rebel unit, when you attack with this unit, it gets a +2 for this attack. Now, the next one is a ground unit, Zeb Orleos. When it's a 5/5, and when this unit completes an attack, if the defender was defeated, you may deal 4 damage to a ground unit. That's almost like a really cool overkill ability. And then this next one's a unit, and it's Imperial 2/3. And when you play a green aspect unit, including this one, heal 1 damage from your base. And the last one is a ground unit. Now here, obviously, these last 3 were the uncommon ones. The last one there is it comes in shielded, so give him a shield token. And then for an action, you can play an event from your hand, and it costs 1 less. And he's got a 1/3. Now the last one I'm going to show you is the actual rare here. So it costs 5. It's an event, bombing run. Choose an arena, ground or space. Deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena. All right, let's check out the third of the 4 boosters. We have the leader here, and it's for the action you attack with a unit, and the defender gets -1 attack, -0 defense for this attack. And then as it becomes a unit, while friendly unit is attacking, the defender gains -1 attack. Now this is the foil in this one. It's actually the foil is the rare in this one, which is kind of interesting. Fett's fire spray. So it's a 5/6, attack 5, defend 6. And then if you control Boba Fett or Jango Fett as a leader or unit, ready this unit. And for an action, you could spend 2 to exhaust a non-unique unit. Oh wow, that sounds cool. Another thing I should mention here is that all of the cards that come here, the token upgrade cards, they are also on the other side, bases. And so it's so that when you play one of the sealed or drafted ways, that you'll always have at least a common base to use. Sometimes some of the bases are actually some of the upgraded ones. But just wanted to point that out to you. All right, let's look at some commons here. We have Homestead Militia. It's a ground unit. Has 3/4, and while you control 6 or more resources, this unit gains Sentinel. Next one is Rugged Survivors. It's a ground unit, 3/5 as the stats. And it's got Grit, which means this unit gets +1 attack for each damage on it. So as this thing gets damage, it's going to become more strong. And on attack, if you control a leader unit, you may draw a card. So that's pretty cool. Next one's Imperial Interceptor, a space unit. When played, you may deal 3 damage to a space unit. And it already it does 3 normally, but when you play it, it does another 3. Resupply is the event here. Put this event into play as a resource. All right, some more comments here. We have the Academy Defense Walker. It's a ground unit. And it's a 5/2, so it's great at attacking. It's got Sentinel, and then when played, you give an experience token to each friendly damaged unit. Precision Fire is an event. Attack with a unit, it gains Saboteur for this attack. And if it's a Trooper type unit, it also gains +2 attack for this attack. The next one's an Asteroid event, and you get to exhaust an enemy unit, and then give a shield token to a friendly unit that costs 3 or less. And the last one is Snow Trooper Lieutenant. It's a 2/2, and when played, you may attack with a unit if it's an Imperial unit, and it gets +2 attack for that attack. All right, on this one, we have the last common I'm going to show you, the TIE Fighter. It's a 1/2, and on attack, you can pay 2 if you do draw a card. Next one is a ground unit, General Veers. It's a 3/5, and other friendly Imperial units get +1/+1, so that's really good. Power of the Dark Side's an event. An opponent chooses a unit they control, defeat that unit. Ooh, man. And then the last one is a ground unit, Greta, so it's a 3/1, and then when defeated, you may discard a card from your deck. If it's not a unit, deal 2 damage to a ground unit. Now, I already showed you that this one was the rare foil, and I thought that each of these comes with 1 rare, but there's another rare here, so maybe there's some packs that have more than 1 rares, but they should have at least 1 rare. So this is General Krell. It's a 5/4. Each other friendly unit gains when defeated, you may draw a card. So when looking back at that last one, it does say that foils can be any rarity. So the reason why that last deck had 2 rares is because the foil can be anything. It's just an additional whatever it is. So that's why that one had 2 rares, which is kind of a cool pack. This one, let me put it on this side here. So this leader, you can ignore the aspect penalty on Spectre cards that you play. Spectre, that keyword there, which is kind of cool. So, and then when you flip it over, it's a 4/6, and then you ignore the aspect penalty on Spectre cards you play, but then on attack, you may give an experience token to another unit. The foil on this one is a common ground unit. It's a Rebel Trooper. It's a 2/2, and when played, a unit loses Sentinel for this phase. All right, here's some comments. We have Medal Ceremony. It's an event. It doesn't cost anything. Give an experience token to each of up to 3 Rebel units that attacked this phase. So you attack a bunch of things, a bunch of rebels, and you play Medal Ceremony. The next one is Seasoned Shore Trooper. It's a 2/3. While you control 6 or more resources, this unit gets +2 attack. Next one is the 2/1B Surgical Droid. It's a 1/3, and on attack, you may heal 2 damage from another unit. And the last one here is unit. It's a space unit. Costs 3. It's got a 3/2 stats. When played, you may defeat and upgrade. That could be really popular. Okay, now we have some more commons. We have an event, Strike True. As a friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to an enemy unit. That could be really, really beneficial. The next one is Space Unit. It's a system patrol craft. It has Sentinel, and it's a 3/4. The next one's a ground unit. It's a 3/2, and when played, if you play another card this phase, each opponent draws a card, then discards a random card from their hand. And the last one here is an event, costs 1 to defeat and upgrade. All right, let's look at the last common here, which is a ground unit. It's a 5/4 and gets grit, which essentially gives it +1 for each damage on it, +1 attack. The next one's an event, Rebel Assault. So attack with a Rebel unit, and then it gets +1 attack for this attack. Then attack with another Rebel unit that gets +1 for this attack. So that's really cool. Next one, Fifth Brother. It's a 2/4. This unit gains Raid 1, so for each damage on him, he'll get +1 attack for an attacking. And then on attack, you may deal 1 damage to this unit and 1 damage to another ground unit. And now we're starting to get into the uncommons here, the last 3. And the last one is Takedown Defeat. It's an event. Defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining hit points. And finally, we have the rare here. It costs 8. It's got an 8/7. Oh man, it's a space unit, Imperial. It's shielded, so when you play it, you get its shield. And then on attack, you name a card. An opponent reveals their hand and discards a card with that name from it. That sounds super popular. So those are the 4 booster packs that I got. Let's go talk about how the different drafting, the deck construction, the drafting, sealed and unsealed works. Now, before I get into the different drafting aspects and constructing a deck, I want to let you know that I'm also going to be releasing a full review of the game. And if you don't want to miss that, go ahead and click the subscribe button below. Now, first of all, one thing I want to mention is that you'll notice I pointed out those aspect icons that you have shared with your leader and your base, and then they're on those other booster cards. Now, one thing I wanted to make note is that when you start to craft your own decks, whether it's just buying booster packs and just creating your own deck that you want to just play with all the time, that same deck or whatever, and you slowly morph that. So anytime you're using any non-starter deck, so any boosters anyway. Anytime you have an aspect that you do not have on your base and or your leader, you have to pay an additional 2 resources for that. So if I'm playing a card that has an aspect, 2 aspects, and I have 1 of those, then I have to pay an additional 2. If I have a card that I'm playing with 2 aspects, and I don't have either of those on my leader and or base, it's going to cost a 4 in addition to what it normally costs. So as you're building your deck, it's really important to try to, as much as possible, keep into the aspects that you're going to be playing with that game with the leader and or base that you have there. So that's an important thing that I wanted to point out. So now let's just talk about the different ways of playing. Obviously, like most CCGs, you can just deck build, open deck build. So buy a bunch of boosters, trade cards with other players. And so your deck must, basically just consist of exactly one leader, exactly one base, and a minimum 50 card draw deck. Now, you can also have sort of a sideboard of up to like 10 non-leader, non-base cards, but your draw deck cannot include more than 3 copies of any one single card. But that's pretty much it for if you just want to sort of mix and match and make your deck and do things like normal CCG way, that's how you do it. But now let's talk more deeply about sort of the drafting. So we're going to talk about open drafting. So the way this works is you and the other opponents, because you can play this with more than 2, although I think it's best with 2 players. Basically, each of you are going to open 3 booster packs. So I think a booster pack's about, it's about $5, so it's like $15 a person. You open 3 booster packs apiece. Now, as I showed you in this overview, when you open a booster pack, you can't see the cards right away except the leader and sort of the token card. So you basically take out the leader card, you take out the token card. Now you keep all those remaining cards in a stack. Okay, so you're opening 3 booster packs, you're putting aside the leaders and the tokens, and you have 3 separate stacks as you're opening 3 booster packs, and they're all face down, so you don't know what's in them. Okay, so you're not looking at those cards. Then you're going to first draft the leader. So you're going to choose one of the 3 leaders that you took. You took 1 from each of the booster packs. You're going to take these. You're going to keep 1 and pass them the other 2 to your right. So of course that doesn't matter if you're playing 2 players, but if you're playing more than 2, you're going to be passing them to the right. Okay, and then you're going to keep drafting that until you've drafted 3 leaders. Okay, then you're going to choose 1 booster pack that you opened, any of the 3. You can't see these cards yet, and you're basically going to now draft those. So you're going to then simultaneously choose 1 card and then pass it to the left. Again, the side doesn't matter if it's just 2 players. If you're playing more than 2, you'll pass those to the left, and you'll keep doing that until all the cards from that first booster pack are drafted. Then you're going to take the second booster pack that you unwrapped. You're going to do the same thing, but now you're going to pass them to the right, 1 card at a time until you've finished. And then the third booster pack, you go back to the left again. Again, if it's 2 players, it doesn't matter which way you go. So at the end, you're going to have total 45 cards. You're going to have 3 leader cards plus 42 other cards. Now, these are the cards that you're now going to use to build your deck. And the deck building rules for the draft and sealed, they're slightly different from the normal sort of deck building rules. The draw deck must have a minimum of 30 cards instead of the usual 50. So you can, if you're doing this open draft, you can actually have a smaller deck there. There's no limit to how many copies of the same card you can include when doing this open draft. So you can include more than 3 copies of a card in your deck. Now, and a player can use any of the 3 leaders that you've drafted. So your base can be any common base from the set, and it's regardless of the bases of the packs that they open. You can always use a common. Sometimes you can get a rare base, but it has to be out of that set that you drafted. So that's open drafting. Then you have sealed play. So the sealed play sort of combines the limited card pool aspect of draft play with the more open-ended deck building approach of constructed play. So in this case, unlike the open draft where you open 3 boosters, you're gonna have 6 booster packs. So you're just gonna get 6, you're gonna open them up, and you must use cards within those packs to build a deck. So you're not sort of drafting cards, you're opening them, and then they're all yours, and then you just decide how you're gonna make your deck. And just like in draft play, your minimum draw deck is 30 cards. You can include any number of copies of cards as you want, as long as they were all acquired within those 6 booster packs that you opened. And also, like the draft, you can use any common base that you want, regardless of what was in your packs. But if you want a base that's better than common, it has to be in one of those sealed packs. But that's pretty much the different ways to play with these booster packs. I hope you found this useful. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you love. I'm also doing a review of this very shortly. If you don't want to miss that, go ahead and subscribe. Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, and if you missed their 4.0 Kickstarter, you can still late pledge and take advantage of over 40 unlocked stretch goals and early fulfillment. This campaign featured a new Young Sherlock table, perfect for children's gaming, and movable coffee table, 10 new thematic mats by top artists like Vincent Dutray, a new designer art series Minecraft topper with thematic art from Brent Woodside, and some of the best package deals they've had, including game mat bundles. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below to late pledge now.